Hey, welcome back everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. What you're looking at here is PES 18, or if you want me to say the full name of the game, it's Pro Evolution Soccer 2018. And this is the Xbox One X enhanced version. Now, it is enhanced and it is running in some sort of dynamic resolution that's upscaled to 4K. I don't know what that resolution is. I tried to look everywhere on the internet. I couldn't find out. I'm probably guessing 1440p or 1800p, something like that. I don't think it's a native 4K. I couldn't find anywhere on the net to confirm that is a native 4K. It doesn't look to me as that it's a native 4K. It looks more like a dynamic resolution, something like 1800p, which is still pretty good. But again, I don't know. I looked everywhere. I checked Digital Foundry. They couldn't confirm it for me either. The only thing I can confirm is that there's some enhancements here with much better lens flare, dynamic light that's being processed by Fox Engine, and textures are a little bit better, and also the anti-aliasing here is being used on the Xbox One X. So there are some graphical enhancements here that were patched up by Konami that's using the power Xbox One X. But in terms of resolution, I don't know what the dynamic resolution is. And I cannot confirm, and I cannot tell you that it is a native 4K. I don't know if it's native 4K. It doesn't look native 4K to me. It looks to me like some sort of dynamic resolution, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kick off. We're gonna do this really quick. And Konami hasn't really released any kind of like information detail on this game to begin with, so I don't know.
Just about ready to get going here. A warm welcome to you wherever you are in the world. And here we have Arsenal against.
But I can tell you, just looking from my objective, my perspective here, is that it looks very clean. The game loads really fast. It didn't take about maybe 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds. Loads pretty fast, and it looks very sharp. The colors pop, even though it doesn't have HDR, but I can tell you there's definitely some graphical enhancements here. The resolution, it's not a native 4K. That I can tell you because it doesn't look that sharp. It's some sort of dynamic resolution. But I can tell you that the graphical enhancements are definitely being utilized here. I do notice that anti-aliasing, it's very high here. And
It's a system that requires the right balance.
is it a 60 frames per second? It could be. It could be 60 FPS, but I don't think so. It could be. Again, I'm just guessing here. I'm just giving you my observation. Okay? So far, the only thing I can tell you is that it loads really fast. You have seen it. I haven't paused the video. It loads really fast. Didn't take about less than 5 seconds. The anti-aliasing, it's very high here. It's being very smooth and soft. Dynamic light, it's really good. Textures are really, really high. I can tell you that textures are really high here.
So off we go then.
Actually, this could be 60 FPS, honestly. It does feel to me...
I would say one of the most energetic. Is it in?
Oh my god. It does feel like 60 FPS to me, but I cannot confirm it unless I get the official confirmation from Konami or Digital Foundry. I contacted Digital Foundry. I'm still waiting for them to... I'm subscribed to them. I'm a member. They haven't replied to me yet, so I don't know if it's a 60 FPS or not. If you guys know, then you can leave me a comment, let me know. But so far, what I'm seeing here, it looks very rich in graphics. You know, textures are very high. Dynamic light, it's very good. Textures are very detailed and filtered really nicely here. Perfect use of Fox engine. It is kind of a shame that they haven't utilized HDR, because one benefit that this game could have used is the use of HDR. But look, the point being here is, one benefit you're getting here, the game loads really fast. You've seen me when I popped the game and press continue, it didn't take less than 5 seconds. The game loaded up pretty fast, and the gameplay, it's very smooth. I can tell you that it feels very smooth, and it's very fluid. Textures are very high, at least to me they look very high. But then again, it doesn't matter if the textures are very high if you are not using a native 4K resolution, so you can see the detail of that, you know. I would say, okay, this is me guessing right now, I would say dynamic resolution is probably between 1800 to like 1440. I would say 1440p to 1800p. That's what I would say. But most likely it's 1440p, honestly, guys. I mean, it is sharp, but it's not sharp like, for example, when you look at Madden, when you look at FIFA, you know, FIFA is just sharp because it's native 4K. Here, I would say 1440p or 1800p. That's what I would say. Let's do some replay here. Let's look at the replay. Let's move the cameras around. Let me examine this a little bit better. So what I'm seeing here, there's a lot of graphical enhancements. Anti-aliasing, it's really put to use here. The lens flare are put to use. Dynamic light from Fox engine is being utilized. There's barely any jagged edges here that I can see. I don't see any jagged edges here. And the detail on the players are very utilized and nicely done. The shadows, they look detailed as well. There's a good use of shadow here. But however, you know, the whole point of you seeing all these graphical enhancements is if you have a really good 4K resolution. Like if this game had a native 4K resolution with HDR, then you would be able to see all of this detail sharper, and then HDR would have brought all of this color detail and dynamic light to life even better. Is Konami going to put native 4K or HDR on this game in the future? I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done it when their competition has already done that, EA Sports. So I'm kind of like disappointed that they haven't done that already. They should have at least put HDR on this game. But here, now in terms of frames per second, I don't really know if it's 60 FPS. It's probably not. It's probably 30 FPS. I might be wrong. It's probably 30 FPS because, you know, when you look at Madden, when you look at how fast that thing is running, you can tell right away that soap opera effect, and you can tell that it's 60 FPS. Here, I just don't see that soap opera effect. meaning it's not running in 60 probably 30 FPS. As soon as I get more information from Digital Foundry, and once they let me know, I'll be able to give you guys the confirmation. Unless you guys already have all the detail and you can kind of let me know. I'm basically just giving you my observation here. I'm giving you my, you know, thoughts and what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing here is pretty much a graphical enhancements are being used here from the Xbox One X, obviously. So you're definitely gonna enjoy a much better graphical enhancements than as you would playing it on the S. So textures are much higher. Dynamic light is being put to use here. Lens flare, depth of field is being used here as well. So it's definitely gonna look good graphically. So you don't have to worry about that. Hold on. Here, let me zoom in a little bit better. So you can see that the anti-aliasing is being used here to its full use. Dynamic light, the shadows. There's no jagged edged lines. I think they used a anti-aliasing to its fullest here, because I don't see any jagged edged lines here. There's barely any jagged edged lines. They don't exist. So that's pretty smooth. Okay. And the shadows look very detailed as well. Let me look around, like on the side. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Dynamic light. It's being... look, bottom line is this. They are using a graphical enhancements in full use from the Xbox One X here. But my only downside is the fact that they're not supporting HDR. Like, this would look much better if they support HDR and native 4K. If they had utilized native 4K with HDR, this would look stunned. You would be stunned. This would look stunning on the this console. But they didn't utilize native 4K and HDR, which is kind of a shame. I would have loved to see native 4K and HDR with 60 FPS. Then this would be a perfect soccer game. But look, it's still great. Okay, this is yet another reason why you have Xbox One X. This is another reason why you bought Xbox One X, so that you can have all of your games, all third-party games and first-party games, look really good. Okay? Let me try closing a little bit better right here. I'm checking to see if there's any jagged edged lines. Barely. There's none. It's very smooth, and there's barely any jagged edged lines on the shadows either. So it definitely it looks very detailed. The textures are being used here to its full potential, obviously. So you're definitely gonna have a good-looking, graphical, enhanced game here. The only downside is it's not a native 4K. It's some sort of a dynamic resolution, and no HDR. I mean, come on, man. You gotta have HDR with native 4K. You gotta have that. And it's probably 30 FPS. It's not 60 FPS. Because I would have noticed the soap opera effect. I don't see it here, so it's definitely not 60 FPS. It's 30 FPS. But other than that, I mean, it looks good. Again, this is something that would I recommend it? Well, here's the thing. You know, depends on your preference on the gameplay. With FIFA 18, you get full-fledged licensed FIFA game. You get native 4K, HDR. It's just better looking, has more features. So I would say FIFA 18. But if you can get this one cheaper, then I say go ahead with it. If you can get it cheaper, I wouldn't pay the full price for it, you know, because there's some licensed team missing here. Oh, here comes the trouble. So there you have it, guys. This is my quick look on PES 18, Pro Evolution Soccer 18. It looks good, but it could have been better. You know, I expected native 4K with HDR, 60 FPS. I was expecting more, but that's Konami for you. This is what we got right now, and it's good, but it's not super great. You know, I mean, there's definitely some advantages. Faster loading time, graphical enhancements, but lack of native 4K and HDR. To me, it's yeah, you know, it defeats the purpose. You know, what's the point of you putting all of these graphical enhancements if you're not going to utilize native 4K with HDR? That's the way I feel. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this video was informative a little bit. Remember, these are my thoughts, my observations, my opinions, you know, and I'm entitled to them. And that's why you guys come here, to see what I have to say and what my observation is. And this is my honest observation looking at this game.